I'm out of breath. That's a lot of aloha, man. That is a lot of aloha. I'm out on the grass. Thank you all for that sun and that energy. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Look at all that energy. That's a lot of energy. I'm feeling a lot of energy. Yeah, fuck yeah. The real McCoy, our relatives in spirit. That's a lot of fire, boy. I gotta tell you, it hurt actually very deeply. I cried watching that movie about the firefighters that were lost at Storm Mountain, right? And they had the audacity, because I worked with all these folks that went out there and did all that work, right? And I still have a picture of myself sitting after having cut brush all day long with chainsaws on the side of a mountain doing what they call fuel breaks, right? That's a whole other science. I'm not going to do the mapping on that. But in other words, we're out there with hand tools after doing calisthenics all morning long and running for 1.5 miles just to start the day, right? You got to stay in the tip-top physical condition because you don't know how long you're going to be out without water, without food, and you're working your butt off in smoky, hot, or sometimes cold environments, like colder than shit type environments, fighting fire, right? Where you're freezing, you're shivering all the time, and yet you're on a fire. Nevertheless, it's hard work. Okay, it's a lot of hard physical labor when you get into the trenches and cut fire line, set backfires, right? Working with bulldozers day in and day out, chasing this stuff, right? So that's a science unto itself, right? Fire science, spirit is fire, spirit, and science. That's why that was my passion, was to protect the forests because they're powerful breathers and mirrors, right? So I worked with a lot of these folks from the time I got out of high school in 1970 till around 1993, in a lot of different phases of all that, right? Because, there's a spirit of fire in you, and when you get into emergency protection in the way that that's defined in the universe, right, as a first responder. So I think of my spirit as like a first responder, which is like an energy man. Anytime that you're experiencing loss of light in somebody else and you are what love is that goes on forever, gifting energy to heal it, then that engine is always going to be there to heal when it experiences something that is a loss in us, which is what love is that goes on forever, gifting you energy. So the very idea that it's eternity, and there are no words that will ever describe it. And not in any language that I know other than what it feels like. So when you're living through your heart and your soul, it's what we feel. It's not what we think. That's the cognitive motor stuff. So when you can go down and slow everything down. Wow, slow everything down. Go directly in your heart and soul. And don't do any work. Just go with the flow. And just feel the peace that's in that energy that flows through you. And you realize it flows through everything that's in peace. Because the music is peaceful. So you're going with the flow of the music. So you're a built-in musician that knows how to play with all the other musicians that are playing music and be in harmony because you're tuned in with it, with your soul and your spirit. So you were musicians, original musicians that have learned in spirit, because spirit is energy, because spirit is the musician. That's the flow. Go with the flow of the musicians, of the real musicians. And when you're in the flow of the real musicians, you're on the engine with real creator beings. Original music. So that's what it is. So we all play music. Remember Close Encounters of the Third Kind? Remember that one? I used to use that as like a teaching segment, a short bang. right? You know, if you want to accelerate learning, sometimes you only need one visual, or just experiencing the energy and the being is enough, right? Because you're translating who they are in energy, as a being of energy. What does your energy feel like? See, so that, you know, that a spiritual war in many ways, and where they use information or informers. So now you have somebody that's on a screen that's informing you of what they're experiencing. Okay, so what are you experiencing in energy? Are you experiencing what love is? That's a yes or no question. That makes it really simple. Are you experiencing what love is? No. You know what love is? It's a vibration. So if you're experiencing what I am, you're experiencing what love is. Now you know what love is because you're going to feel it translated through their antenna. So they know what love is, and that's high energy. So love is translated as high energy. So we love high energy. So that's obviously a lot of fire. So when that particular movie said their eternal enemy, because they were showing a scene. We chase fire. We're firefighters. We're brave warriors, right? That's how it's modeled in front of us, that they're going to fight fire, and because of what it can do, right? It can burn out a lot of trees, burn out a lot of homes, and I know because I experienced it. Okay, directly on the ground, being part of a hotshot crew, right? Where you're surveying the damage. It's another casualty zone. So you realize what's going on. This is part of the larger landscape of programming to experience the stuff that traumatizes you. So you're in a trauma zone, what I call a mass casualty zone, or a mass planetary triage. Triage like in 3. You're triaging a fallen system that fell in battle. So now you're experiencing all the casualties, right? So when you're in these kinds of zones, I found that it's useful to do the things that allow you to keep your energy up, and that's always in love and service to others. And the more that I found that you give your energy away, the more that your magnet spins at a higher rate of vertical speed, and that allows you to regain your shield, you know, your crystalline shield. And so, you know, that's how you do it. Just like this is the largest shield volcano right here. This rock, this is a powerful rock, boys and girls. Yeah. Exceptionally excited kids. The energy is what does it. That spirit is alive. So when we talk about what it means to be alive, for me, the way I describe it means being alive and living in spirit. So like live wires. That's a live wire of communication, right? Anybody, I'm sure a lot of folks out there, I know firefighters and guys that work the streets have certainly seen whenever a high wind area comes through, can blow a pole down or blow a line down, just breaks, snaps. And now you have a live wire that's whipping around, you know, like a cowboy with a rope, right? Bucking broncs, them folks. You know, what do they call it? Chasing doggies. Chasing doggies. Yeah, it's the same symbolism. Put a rope around your neck, right? That's Hangman's Noose. That's a Mr. Smith. So you got to know who all the Mr. Smiths are, which are basically all the characters, which are character maps. And anybody knows anything about programming and keyboards, characters are symbols. And the shape and form and what it means as an experience. Everything, the way I experience it is, I call it an experience. What does it feel like? And that simply means, what does the music feel like? Is music in harmony? Because the reaction state is giving you the immediate feedback of what it's like to experience that experience. What did that experience feel like through your heart and soul? In other words, did you lose any energy? Did you have a negative reaction state, or was it, wow, lit you up? That's beautiful to experience that, because you're translating the beauty in you by the beauty in the experience you're having in your mirror. So you realize you're in a communication system between others and yourself. So now we're back to music, and how much the music is actually in harmony with itself and rhythm with itself, and which is playing music that's moving the spirit with the energy and the waves of whoa. This is really beautiful energy, and you feel while you're free in spirit. So in other words, none of the spirits' energy is being held captive by other spirits that are holding energy captive, because we don't hold energy captive in spirit. So when a spirit is with a soul, then the soul, the more powerful the soul with the spirit, the bigger the target for the access of energy from which that provides. So they're like feeders, feeder lines, sticking feeder lines into you, like voodoo dolls, which are lines of communication. So now they use our energy as the means in which to go to war against themselves in their mirror, we thus experience in ours. So I've always known since I was a child, I burn off anything that does not serve the law of one, which is what love is. It goes on forever, gifting energy. So that's when you know what love is, what love isn't, what love is, what love isn't, what love is, what love isn't. And you begin to realize you can graph all that. And now you want to burn everything off that isn't what love is, because that's what the law is. Okay? So if you are what love is, you immediately know what love isn't. That's an easy translation, because the light will fucking expose it. Because that's how intelligent, real, living, pure light is, when you've managed to run a high-speed vortex and keep your light clean, which means keep your light pure. And when your light's pure, that's pure love. And that means, boy, that is the purest light there is to experience. There's nothing like it. You can purify anything, because there's that much fire doing it. See, so you can understand how in the beginning of that movie, when they say that they said it, they used the word eternal. Oh, man. That movie right there says it all, doesn't it? Eternal fire is their eternal enemy. That's what they said. That's as cold as ice. That's ice cold veins, ice cold blood. So you know what that is, right? That's the vampire chasing the artist. Yep. So thank you all for all this light. This is very powerful energy. It's a beautiful day. I am celebrating with all of you that celebrate your lives and living spirit with a soul, with love. Those that celebrate life with love throughout the entire multiverse. I bid you a good day. I love you all. Be good to yourselves. The sun came out. That's not a coincidence. Even though on their weather page it says rain, 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 rain. And even on Mr. MB 333, he's saying, yeah, they're getting over 30 inches of rain over there, you know, number 3. I'm gone. As they used to say, I'm 10-7. I'm out of service. No, I'm always in service, right? There used to be some other 10 code where they said that I'm on standby, which means I'm always in service, but I'm taking a time out. But my line is open. That's like an open antenna, you know, fully open cosmic level antenna. So I've been hearing a lot of different frequencies, but they're different all the time throughout the day, because you're picking up on all the radio traffic. Some days the compressor is really loud. Some days it's not so loud. Sometimes at night it gets really busy. You know, it's the way it is, huh? Your antenna, cosmic level antenna. So they know who's on the ground. Have a good day. Bye-bye. I love you all.